welcome back to my channel. Today we are traveling back to Stratford-Upon-Avon. I had a wonderful girls' weekend there not too long ago, and I wanted to share a couple highlights in case you're planning a weekend for a big group or you just want to see a little bit more of the town. So let's jump in. Before I go into what we saw and did, I wanted to start with where we stayed. So you usually see me reviewing hotel rooms on this channel. Well, I had the pleasure of staying at this gorgeous Airbnb literally in the center of town in Stratford-Upon-Avon. It was so close walking distance to all of the places that we wanted to go to. Stratford-Upon-Avon itself is pretty small, but this Airbnb slept 8 people. So we did all have to kind of bunk up and share rooms, but there were 4 bedrooms. 1 bedroom had twin beds, the rest were just beds to share, and it is absolutely stunning. I'm sorry that I didn't actually capture any footage of the bedrooms because, as mentioned, I was on a girls' weekend, but I will leave the listing on Airbnb down below because whether you're with a family or a group, this was such a great Airbnb, gorgeous quality, and the only thing to call out is you do have to check out very early. They don't want this to be a party house, which was totally fine for our weekend because we're of a certain age. I'm not really up for a crazy house party situation anymore. Anyway, if you are looking for advice on going to Shakespeare's birthplace, Anne Hathaway's cottage, or a new place, I have filmed an entire video explaining all of the things of visiting these wonderful 3 locations related to kind of Shakespeare's history and life, and you can find that link down below. So for day 2, the reason why I did all of the kind of Shakespeare attractions is I knew we were gonna have more of kind of a chill day. We woke up, we had some breakfast in the Airbnb, so great to have a kitchen where we could cook, and then we started by walking along Trinity Church. Now, Trinity Church is a historic medieval church in Stratford-Upon-Avon, and apparently William Shakespeare is buried there. That's where his grave as well as his baptism and burial records are. So that was really lovely to see. It's just a beautiful old church. I didn't actually know that Shakespeare's grave was there, so we didn't actually go grave hunting, so to speak, but we did just enjoy walking past it. And what we really wanted to do for the day was just have a lovely stroll along the River Avon. And I really highly recommend this if you're in Stratford-Upon-Avon. It's just beautiful. And as we saw, when we did this stroll, people are out in rowboats, so you can definitely get out on the water if you want to, which would have been hard for us to do as a group of 8, but I think if I was with a smaller group, I would have loved to do. So we actually, in the back of the Trinity Church, we wandered along this place called Room for the Soul, and it was an outdoor living room based on memories and nature, and it was created by an artist named Faye Claridge and members of the Forest of Hearts Green Therapy group. And you know, I guess it's only up temporarily, but you know, there is a website which I will leave linked down below, which is called fayeclaridge.co.uk/room. So perhaps you can get some more information on how long it will be up, because I filmed this video in April 2022, so perhaps it will be up for the summer. Let's see, because it was just really lovely to see and walk around and enjoy, and I think that's just the magic of travel. You just never know what you're gonna run into or see when you're traveling. We We then continued our way along the river and we saw this very cool kind of hand rowing ferry, which was unlike anything I had seen before. And it just makes for such a wonderful stroll, and it was such a beautiful day out. I also noticed on the other side of the river there was actually a Ferris wheel, which was really interesting to see. We actually didn't get on that side, unfortunately. We decided to turn away from the river and make our way to the weekend farmers market. The market on Saturday is called the Urban Mix Market, and it truly is a mix of wonderful things. I, of course, zoned right in on the sweets with the amazing brownies, but there's a ton of great food. There's crafts. I think one of my friends bought some beef jerky. So there's a lot to see and do, to taste, to experience. And there also was randomly a classic car festival happening, or classic car show. I'm not sure if it was an official thing that happens in the area, but on several different streets around the markets, we saw people with these really interesting, either historic or more modern cars, just putting them on display for people to come and check out and have a chat about. So that was also a really wonderful thing to enjoy as we walked around. As we got a little bit thirsty, it's actually a very warm day in April, we stumbled upon this very historic looking Costa Coffee. So for those not from the UK, Costa is kind of like a Dunkin' Donuts, and I had a iced oat milk vanilla latte, which is my favorite. And I actually spoke with the staff and they said it's actually not a uniquely historic building. It's more of a artistic facade for it, but it still looks very cool. And then after that, we actually wandered back by Shakespeare's birthplace just to show the girls what it looks like. We didn't actually go inside. We didn't really have time for that, sadly. And then we made our way back to the Airbnb because we had a very special wine tasting happening, and I will leave the company name down below. It was a local woman who runs this company. She comes to your house or whatever venue that you've booked with food and wine pairings, and she is a sommelier. She has an incredible knowledge of wine and curated such a wonderful mix of food, really taking into consideration dietary needs. And not only did we learn a lot about wine and kind of wine and food pairings, but we just had a great laugh with the girls, and it really set the tone for kind of leading into our night out. So after that, we hit the town, went out in Stratford-Upon-Avon. For dinner, we went to Loxley's restaurant and wine bar, which was outstanding. And I need to give a special shout out to the owner because we had originally booked something a bit out of town that we would have needed to coordinate taxis for, just because when you go to Stratford-Upon-Avon, especially with a bigger group, it's a very small town. So you definitely need to make bookings in advance. And I'd probably even recommend that if you are a smaller group and you have your heart set on specific restaurants, just because it's just, you know, smaller towns, not as much kind of options. So we happened to walk by Loxley's. I had read that they're on every Best of Stratford-Upon-Avon list, and my friend started chatting with a gentleman who we later found out I think is the owner. And he's like, I can make a table for you work. And he really saved our evening, because I think just having to coordinate taxis for that many people in and out of town would have been a lot. And the food was outstanding. I had a roasted chicken dish with delicious mashed potatoes, and it was just, everything was perfectly cooked and lovely. And as you'll see here on screen, one of my friends had the pasta, one of them had the duck. Everyone said their meals were amazing, and we did have 2 vegans in the group, and there were plenty of options on the menu to accommodate them. So definitely understand why Loxley's is on every Best of list in Stratford-Upon-Avon. Really cute decor, friendly service, and just great food. What more can you ask for? And what's great about it is because it was only about 5 minutes walk from our Airbnb, then we were able to kind of hop around a bit to a few bars, get into a little bit of mischief. Naturally, I didn't bring my camera out, but we did kind of find the one late night spot in town to linger at for a while. Okay, so the spot that we went to is called Vino, V-E-E-N-O, and it's classified as a wine bar, but they have great cocktails, and most importantly, on Saturday nights, they have a DJ, and I think at least on Google Maps, they say they're open until 1:30 in the morning, and it was just like jam after jam, a lot of old school hits. You could make some requests to the DJ, and this seemed like where everyone was coming for a bit of dancing and drinks in the evening, so really fun atmosphere, perfect place for us to end the night after a delicious meal at Loxley's. And yeah, I mean, if you want to have a bit of a laugh and a little bit of dancing, I think Vino is your after party destination. All right, so the next morning we made our way to our brunch destination after our early morning checkout, and we actually saw some people doing historic dancing, and correct me if I'm wrong here, but I believe what my friends told me is that the 1st of May, because we had reached the 1st of May at this point, is May Day, and that was Morris dancing that we saw happening in front of Shakespeare's new place, which was quite cool to see. We then made our way over to the townhouse for brunch. I had some poached eggs on prosciutto and toast, kind of like an Eggs Benedict kind of situation, but with prosciutto instead of ham, which I thoroughly enjoyed, but thought the portion was a tiny bit small. One of my friends had the pancakes and bacon and literally got one pancake and bacon. So we kindly asked for another. And another friend had the English breakfast, which the portion was much more satisfactory. So yeah, I guess, you know, we always joke that as Americans, we're used to massive portion sizes, but I think even for the Brits that were at this table felt like this was even a bit too small for England. But coffee was great. They accommodated us without a booking, so can't fault them too much, and were really friendly and welcoming with the service, with us kind of saying, hey, can I have an extra pancake, or, you know, wanting a bit of extra food here and there. So all good there, just because again, we had a large group and we didn't book anything, which I would absolutely recommend. I think when you have large parties for a brunch in Stratford-Upon-Avon, it only seemed like there were a few options. So the townhouse was one, Bill's restaurant and Carluccio's seemed like the three, but obviously I don't know enough about like the kind of pubs or gastro pubs in town to know who else is doing brunch for kind of larger groups. So yeah, so with that said, that wraps up my day 2 in Stratford-Upon-Avon. I hope you enjoyed this, especially if you want to do kind of a girls weekend or a family weekend. Hope it gave you some good ideas, and definitely make sure to check out my other vlog on having more of a Shakespeare kind of educational experience, going from the birthplace of Shakespeare to his wife Anne Hathaway's childhood cottage, all the way to a new place where Shakespeare lived in Stratford-Upon-Avon with Anne Hathaway and his family, all before passing. So it really makes for a fun day out, and I've covered it all for you. So if you've been to Stratford-Upon-Avon, I actually would love to go back, because I don't think that I've really seen everything that there is to see in this charming town. So please leave a comment down below. Let me know what else there is to see in town, or maybe some slightly road trippy kind of trips around there, because that would be really fun. We did go to Bicester Village on the way home, which I didn't film, so that is kind of a nice you know, pit stop on the way home for a bit of shopping. If you stayed at any great hotels, Airbnbs, please also leave them on a comment down below. My next video will be on my hotel room review of the Hotel Indigo in Stratford-Upon-Avon, which I stayed in for one night before I went into the Airbnb, which was fantastic. also leave that linked down below when it's ready. And then yeah, if you want to see more of my travel vlogs, life in London adventures, please hit that subscribe button. There's new videos every week and I have lots more adventures to share with you. So thanks again for tuning in and I will see you soon.